So when you're finished with your weaving, to complete it, you have to take it off the loom. Just turn it over and cut the warp threads off the back so that you can prepare the piece for hanging by tying off those warp threads. I just like to pull one side off at the time so that the top of the loom can still hold some of those warps still. And I'm going to finish off the bottom of the weaving first, just by taking every 2 warp threads and tying them together in a double knot the way you do your shoes. Once and then again twice. And I'm going to do that all the way across. Sometimes it happens where there's an odd number of warp threads, so I have 3 here at the bottom. I have this lonely one that's not got a partner, and I'm just going to tie it to the next one. It doesn't matter that it doesn't have to be exactly right. The point is that you're making these knots to hold the weft threads and keep them from falling out. This next part is optional. Some of you mentioned that you don't like the way the warp threads look scraggly at the bottom. So you can take 2 warp threads and then twist them around each other, which makes a loop, and you take the ends, stuff it through the loop, and then when you pull it down, it will end up looking more like a tassel or like a raya knot. It creates a pleasing look. So you can see how it's hanging down there. I can go around and do that to every pair of 2, and it will have a little bit more of a tidy appearance. As a final touch, I'm going to take my scissors and give the warp threads a haircut so that they're even along whatever shape or length that I want them to be. Now I'm ready to take the warp threads off the loom completely, off the top, and prepare the top. I want to be able to hang the loom on a dowel rod, so I'm going to turn it over to the other side, and now I'm looking at the back side, and I'm going to tie the knots on the dowel rod on the back side. That way I'm trying to minimize all the scraggly pieces on top to try to hide the knot in the back. So I've got my same knot, same process I did at the bottom, only this time there's a dowel rod in between. Now that I'm all done, you can see that the knots are along the back side, but the front side looks pretty neat. As a final touch, I'm going to take an extra piece of string and tie it to the dowel rod. I noticed that generally I don't want the string to be too long. It looks kind of messy that way. I just have it as close to the weaving as I can so that most of the piece is the weaving, not the hanging thread. And then it's done. It's ready to hang, and it looks really neat on the front. On the back you can see where I've tied some pieces, and it's ready to go on our Sonia.